a tight embrace. Maybe they were just two lost demigods. There's someone who may be more. Nico and Will pulled back. Well, that was the first only true contact they'd ever have. In fact, when Nico or Will would help one another forget on the training. Will could see Nico's breath in the cold autumn air. He noticed the freckles peppered along Nico's sloped nose. His eyes fluttered down to Nico's lips. He was careful not to linger. Will's met Nico's gaze again. For the first time since they met, Nico's dark eyes were redoubtable chocolate brown. Appreciated. Will's heart was racing. Nico cleared his throat. Hey, want to meet me at my cabin around 8 tonight and maybe we can take a walk? I have some things I should probably tell you. Will's mouth felt dry. He licked his lips. Why, of course, sure. He nodded. Don't be late. I'll see you around, Will. Nico turned and began to walk away from his cabin. Beatrix, the curious skeleton mouse, skittered at his feet. Will beamed after him, overwhelmed by the possibilities. He'd almost forgotten. Nico, wait! Will called. Are you at the campfire tonight? Jason promised to bring marshmallows from Camp Jupiter, Nico yelled back. You don't think I'm going to miss out of those? Will didn't try to hold back a smile. He waved. Catch you later, Nico. A crooked, genuine smile formed on Nico's face. The grin that made other campers run for the hills. The kind that made Will's legs turn to jello. He turned away from Will as he walked towards the dining pavilion. Once Nico was out of earshot, Will exhaled loudly, his heart still pounding. He leaned against the wooden post outside of the Apollo cabin to steady himself. He still felt out of breath from Nico's embrace, and the feeling of Nico's breath warm on his cheeks. I was seriously thinking about kissing him. Will thought. Will watched Nico walk away. Suddenly, his being the bonfire tonight would be much more than ever. Will remembered that Jason would have to always drag Nico along. Now he came to almost every sing-along. He didn't sing, but he sat at the foot of every log and roasted marshmallows while Will sung with his siblings and entertained the campers. Nico's presence was enough for him. Also, he was curious about Nico asking him to stop by his cabin. What did Nico want to tell him? Will felt much more better than he had this morning. Like a weight had been lifted off his chest that he told somebody. But he was suddenly hungry. Plus, he decided to save his appetite for the bonfire. Plus, his siblings probably brought pastries back from the dining hall. Speaking of siblings, Will turned to climb up the steps of the Apollo cabin and halted when he saw two girls sitting on the deck next to each other. No doubt they had just seen a minute ago. I was wondering where you were at dinner, Will. His older sister, Kayla, smirked. She dunked her pastry into Lou Ellen's cocoa. Getting cozy with the Hades kid, I see. We're not, rolling his eyes and quoted, getting cozy. He walked up the steps so he didn't have to speak so loud. Huh, well, I guess we're getting cozy with your sister, sang cooed. Lou Ellen, the daughter of Hecate, one of Will's best friends. Kayla offered her a bite of her pastry, and Lou Ellen took a bite as a approval point. That wasn't news. Lou Ellen and Kayla had been dating for years now. Good for you two. It's getting cold outside. Lou Ellen piped up. She blew on her cocoa. Maybe you should ask Nico out already so you guys can keep warm in his jacket. Will's cheeks felt warm. Leave me alone, Lou. Or you can invite him inside the cabin, Kayla snickered. I'll get Connor and Trap atop his creative version so you two can be alone. That won't be necessary, Will muttered. The last thing I needed was Stoll Brothers knowing. Kayla got into Will's journals, read all the awful poetry. She knew Will had been penned after Nico first arrived at camp when he was no more than 11 and 10 years old. Nico had babbled Will's ear off about mythomagic, and Will told him all about Star Trek and other movies he was into. When Percy Jackson returned from his quest, the hunt of the Rodimus, though, Nico vanished without a trace. After Nico disappeared, he heard rumors about a dangerous son of Hades that had been at Camp Half-Blood. Will assumed it had been about Nico. He was correct. Lou Ellen, on the other hand, she and Cecile were Will's closest friends before Gaia and Nico arrived at camp for the Battle of Gaia. Even after Nico left 6 years ago, he told them everything about mysterious, dark-haired boy who was obsessed with the small figures and playing cards. Never in his wildest dreams did he believe Nico would actually return to stay after the battle with Gaia. He's into you, Llewellyn said confidently. You also told me that he and Jason were into each other. Will responded bitterly. Llewellyn thought she was a love expert. She wasn't. Well, Jason is a hunk, Will mumbled defensively. It was a good guess. You're not helping, Will growled. He turned back to them. He glanced back at the horizon, towards the pavilion where Nico had disappeared. Plus, you're making all this up. How would you even know if he's gay? Keller offered. Will sighed. Yeah. There's no way you don't know unless you go for it. Will turned around to see Llewellyn and Kayla. Face Llewellyn and Kayla. I have a miserable feeling for what you're going for, he quoted miserably. May I get mutilated? That never stopped you before, Kayla laughed. Honestly, Will's favorite thing to do. Well, my favorite thing about you pinning after it, Nico, is you've lost almost all your stubbornness. You used to be so arrogant. I'm not arrogant, Will bristled. There, Kayla pointed out. There's the Will Solace I know. Stop letting Nico get under your skin. Like we said, just go for it. Will wouldn't meet their gaze. Well, he doesn't hate my guts anymore. He's never hated your guts. You're so dense sometimes. You know that? Will leaned against the wooden rails of the surrounding the deck of Apollo cabin. He crossed one leg over the other and gazed out towards the beach. Some demigods were already beginning to build up at the bonfire. You should probably go help them. Hey, Will, I read some stupid poetry diary this morning after you left, Kill murmured. Will spun around, infuriated. I told you not to do that anymore. It was sweet, she shrugged. Why didn't you just tell Nico that? Panic rose in Will's chest. Tell him what did you read? Kayla scoffed. That he was like the light to your darkness or something sappier that a child of Aphrodite could come up with. I didn't know you were such a romantic, Will. Ellen did a good job at... Ellen didn't do a good job at suppressing her smile. Will's cheeks were on fire. Good thing he was looking in the opposite direction. Oh yeah, that was just the coffee talking, I guess. There was a reason Will didn't like showing his poetry journals. Kayla hummed. I don't press anymore. I shouldn't have been sleeping around anyways, but it looks like your talk went well. Yeah, Will nodded. It did. So, what are you talking about? Will's heart couldn't take any more panic about memories of Nico talking about his play cards rushed out. The fact that he'd already forgotten was a good sign. I don't want to talk about it right now, but I'll tell you later. Will still couldn't help but wonder what Nico wanted of him to tell him. Whatever it was, it couldn't have been said a few moments ago. Maybe Will was finally getting to know Nico better. Maybe Nico finally trusted him enough to show him a whole other side of himself. There were butterflies in Will's stomach. There was more curious possibilities. Will suddenly felt a new sense of energy coursing through his veins. Will spun around to face Kayla and Llewellyn. I'm going to help out at the bonfire. Do me a favor? Keep the whole diary thing down low, will you? Your secret's safe with me, Kayla smiled. She brushed a strand of platinum blonde hair off her shoulders. What about you, Louie? Of course, she nodded, then winked at Will. Go get him, Tiger. Will rolled his eyes. A smile crept onto his face. He waved goodbye, then back down the steps towards the beach. Maybe Nico was right after all. People were more trustworthy, more accepting than Will could have ever imagined. Will decided that he would tell more people about his secret power to cast plague, but would assure them that he had it under control. Hiding was a large part of that always weighed Will down. And then he told Nico he felt much more content with himself. Content with himself. As he dashed towards the beach, he picked up stray logs from the tree. Again, Will's mind flashed back to hugging Nico. He felt Nico's arms around his waist, head buried against his chest. The only other person Will had ever seen Nico embrace was Jason Grace and his sister once or twice. Nico, to do that, it had to mean something, right? With an armful of fire logs, Will bursted out of the trees and laid it on the beach, soft, cool sand. He waved at various campers that greeted him, but his mind still relying on the events that happened a few moments ago. Nico thought nothing different of Will. He accepted Will for who he was, plague powers or not. Whatever it was that Nico planned to tell him later, he would respond with open arms. Well, that was a really nice fan fiction. It was actually pretty good. It made me forget I was eating. I'm 7 minutes over time. So let's see if this video goes up. Hope you enjoyed. The next one going up. It's probably going to be some Anubico thing. Forgive me, I ship it. I'm reading a very mentally disturbing one, which I do not wish on anybody to find on accident. So, I hope you enjoyed this. I trust your judgment about my channel. And see y'all next time.